Well, hello, my Smooners. How are you guys doing? Okay, so a lot of things have changed since the last recording. I think the last recording I did was in November, which is terrible because I said I would at least give you guys a podcast every month, at least one or two. So I think I started my Ozempic journey in November. Well, I don't think I know. So if you guys are following me on YouTube, if you subscribe, which you should have subscribed, you'd be up to date on that bit. Also, the braces in my mouth, which make it so difficult to talk. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even understand what's going on. But and then I said, okay, well, January rolls around. I need to say Happy New Year to my Smooners. And I didn't get around to doing that. So Happy New Year, my beautiful Smooners. Happy New Year. I mean, it's a new year, and I'm guessing everyone is happy, so Happy New Year. Um, yeah, so I was wondering if I should talk about my Ozempic journey on the podcast, since it's really Ozempic is like a really big hot topic, and I figured, you know what, I could do some live shows with regards to that on my YouTube channel and then just share it to my podcast so that way you guys would be aware. But yeah, I've been on Ozempic since November 2nd and I'm down like 34 pounds now. So I'm very excited about this. But yeah, stay tuned. Let's keep that going. Hello. Um so what were we going to talk about? I want to get right into it. I think obviously my show is called Being Mrs. S. I gave you guys a little introduction into the whole Being Mrs. S thing and what I'd be focusing on my podcast. But you know, it's about my life. What I do want to maybe talk more about is about my marriage and things like that on the podcast. So stay tuned on that front. Maybe I'll get Mr. S on on the microphone to share his thoughts as well about some things that go on in our wonderful love-filled marriage. Yes, that is a thing. You know, marriages can be filled with love. But today, what we're gonna get into big time is the hot mess that is housewives. We're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna share my little 2 cents on that. So Salt Lake City wrapped a few weeks ago, and Real Housewives of Potomac is right now on their reunion. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Salt Lake City because remember when that show started, I was telling you guys that that's about to be my favorite show. It has since gone downhill for me, but you know, I still like it. I still watch it, and I'm still hoping for great things on that show. Obviously, I still love Lisa Barlow, which, if you guys remember, she was going to be my least favorite. Is that not crazy? I just thought I was not going to like her at all, but then as I watched the show, she became my top chick. So I really like her. Last season, they brought on the two Andys. It's a tale of two Andys and a Dana. These girls were the friends of. Like one of the Andys, I don't like, and I feel like I don't want to see her on that show again. That's the one that has known Lisa Barlow the longest and came on the show and just like was the worst. The other one, Angie K, I had real high hopes for her. I really, really did. And by the time that the season was over, I was like, I don't know if I like her so much. I feel like she didn't need to try as hard. Oh my God, these braces are killing me. I feel like she didn't need to try as hard as she did. She overdid it. And I was like, no, no, that's not the formula. That's not what we want. What you're giving is not what I want. So we don't want her either. Dana, same thing. And I think the last I just saw, and I don't know, on Twitter, everybody just does all kinds of crazy stuff. They post stuff. You don't know what to believe, what not to believe. But I think on the last, I saw somebody post something about Dana is back. I really don't know what she's back for. She didn't give a lot. Um, so I mean, obviously she came for Jen Shaw, which Jen totally deserved that. But outside of that, what is she given? I don't know. So um it was, the storyline was off. It was focused on, like, really, what was it even focused on? It was focused on Heather's eye, that we never got a resolution. Like, she never told us what happened to, which everybody kind of guessed what it probably was. It was obvious, but it wasn't. I don't know. Let's jump from there. Let's move on to Real Housewives of Potomac, because that one is also another. I don't know what's going on in Real Housewives world. I never gave my. Did I? I think I did. I talked a little bit about Beverly Hills, because with what I saw from Salt Lake City, I think Beverly Hills is back up to my top show. But anyway, let's get into Real Housewives of Potomac real quick, because that one was it's. So the season storyline, we started off with is it Mia or Maya? Mia's cancer, the whole Gizelle and Ashley rumor or allegation about Chris moving on Gizelle and groping women. Ashley talking about her divorce, but buying a house with the person she's supposed to be divorcing. And then at the tail end, they threw in Robyn's wedding and Juan's cheating, like right in the very last episode. And then there was Wendy's feud with Robyn and Gizelle. Those girls do not like Wendy. And then her gallstones, I think that's what it was. And then she was attacked by Mia over Peter Thomas, Cynthia's ex-husband. So that was the supposed storyline. So the thing about Housewives Twitter, it's like, or Housewives, I'm saying Twitter because I see a lot of angst on Twitter about Housewives. Like it's like people go crazy about Housewives. And when you think about the group of people who watch Housewives, right? They fall into like two categories. The people who watch it for the mess, the chaos, those people tend to love the Ninis of the world, the Marlos, the people who are just chaotic and unnecessary. And then you have the people who watch it for the glamour, the beauty, the fashion. Those people tend to like the Ericas of the world, the Lisa Barlows of the world. I think I fall into that category. I like to see the fashion. I like to see the affluent. I like to see the fun girls having fun trips. That's what I like. I don't like the angst. I don't like the useless fighting. There's shows for that, really. And you don't want that from the housewives. They are housewives. They're supposed to be respectable women. So it's very interesting when you watch the shows and then you go to Twitter and then you see the comments, and sometimes you're like, wait, did we just watch the same show? Because what you're saying is not what happened. And I don't know, how do you figure that? How do you gather that? But anyway, let's get into Real Housewives Potomac, the reunion. First of all, we're going to start with the way the girls were set. It was just ridiculous. And I don't know why there is a constant need to keep Karen and Gizelle sitting next to Andy. And I think on Twitter, I asked him, what does how do they plan the seating arrangements? I thought that it was about who brought it for the show, like who was the main character, who gave us, main character energy. Hello. But I think for Potomac, I think they just keep the Grand Am and Giselle because Grand Am, the Grand Dam, Grand Am. They keep them up top. I think because they've been on the show the longest, but they don't bring a lot. Well, I mean, Karen is she's engaged and engaging, but there were others who brought some stuff to the show that we could have focused on and should have been sat next to him. But anyway, but I don't understand it after I saw what they did with Real Housewives of Atlanta. Um, this past season, I was like, I'm not even gonna lose brain cells trying to figure out what they're trying to do here. But let's get into Real Housewives of Potomac. The first thing, I guess Mia had gone on Twitter talking about she possibly had cancer. So when the show started, they confronted her about it. Obviously, she didn't have cancer. It came down to her having a rash. One thing about that Mia is that she will lie. She's a liar. She likes to lie. She understands that she's a liar and she owns it. So I guess let's give her that. And let's give her the fact that she owns being a liar. We'll leave that alone. We'll come back to her in a minute. Another person who lies just incessantly, continuously, and she doesn't just lie, she embellishes like big time. I feel like she should be the one who has the embellishing business, is Gizelle. So Gizelle claims that Chris, who is Candace's husband, made her feel uncomfortable because after the taping of the past season, he asked to have a chat to her in her room, and she felt uncomfortable. Gizelle is a grown woman. I had to give the dramatic pause because I need for okay, my magic wand. Let me wand her. She's a grown woman. If in fact Chris did ask her to go to her room so they can discuss, did she need to walk all the way to her room to figure out that that's not what she wants? She could have told her, no, let's talk right here. What's the big deal? What do you want to talk about? And then there wouldn't have been any, oh, he made me feel uncomfortable, because you talked right there where there are people who could, save you from the lecherous Chris Bassett if that were a thing, right? So throughout the show, one thing I picked up on was Gizelle's need to be seen by Chris. She wanted to touch him. She wanted to be around him. I picked that up. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I think she has a thing for Chris, and I feel like she needs to own up to that fact. She might also have a thing for Andy. She might also have a thing for Andy, because the funniest, most out of the wall conversation between both of them, I think when they had a break, one of Gizelle's daughters called, and she was driving, and Andy was like, oh, no, you can't FaceTime and drive. And then she told her daughter, oh, Daddy Andy says you can't FaceTime and drive at the same time. And then when she gets off the phone, she turns to Andy and asks Andy, who's a gay man, if he's ever been with a woman before. And he said no. And then she asked, have you ever been interested in he says yes, he would love to be. I think he says he wants to, try it out. And then she offered herself to him. There's so many things that are inappropriate about that conversation. One, he's a gay man. Two, I think he's her boss, right? So the whole employment situation, that was so inappropriate. If the shoe were on the other foot, we'd be saying something else about it. Why aren't people noticing this about Gizelle? She is the most inappropriate person that I have seen on that show in a long time. And that's telling, because there are a lot. So I was put off. I was like, girl, get your thirsty ass somewhere else and, figure yourself out, because that's not cute. You are so inappropriate. It's not cute. So let's move on from her because she was so annoying. I mean, the last season when she was trying to get back with her philandering ex-husband, who everybody knows, his behavior. If her father was so upset about it, she's ridiculous. Let's stop talking about how she can go. Now let's move on to Ashley. Ashley, who has been the most, when I tell you, she was the most, to me, polarizing person on that show the minute she joined. She thought she was a star because she was married to, what's her husband's name again? Michael Darby, who is, and the thing is, they've both talked about how they're both, how, well, she's owned up to being bisexual. I don't know that he necessarily has, but clearly he is, because he happens to like to flirt with men a lot and touch men and things like that. So anyway, she's telling us that she's getting a divorce from him, and yet she wants to buy a house, and well, at the reunion, she did let us know that she bought the house with him. Magic wand time. Can I sprinkle some sense on your head, Ashley Darby? She came on the show talking about her prenup. Ooh. Everybody thought, yeah, girl. She talked about having a prenup. She made it look like she was sorted and things like that. Well, on the reunion, she let us know that she did not make out like a bandit. She is out with nothing, and then to top it all up, she's paying $10,000 a month. She said she just started $10,000 a month for rent, for her mortgage that she's sharing with him. More than likely, he's the one who's paying that mortgage, and from what she let us know, everything he came into the marriage with, plus businesses he started with the money he came into the marriage with, which includes this house, none of that does she have a claim to. They have a prenuptial agreement. She does not have a claim to any of those things. Well, she got into it, or Candace decided to remind us about how she put her down and maligned her character because she was living off of the generational wealth and blah de blah de blah. But here you are in a house that you can afford, and you would never be able to afford if you didn't have this man. But you have the nerve to talk about me. Never liked Ashley. She was nasty. She came up with the worst rumors. She said so many nasty things about people that were unfounded. Remember in the beginning, she used to get into it with what's her name? Robyn, all the time about Juan cheating. We'll get to him in a minute, which, Robyn did not like that girl. But she always turned a blind eye to Michael Darby, who was doing all these things that were consistently caught on tape, caught on camera all the time. It was either a man or a woman. This Michael Darby was doing all these nasty things, and she would just shrug it off like it's nothing. And I'm like, girl, are you crazy? Why are you delusional? So anyway, she's telling Candace that Chris was groping one of her friends. And the thing is, throughout the show, production and editing would show us what exactly happened. And it'd be very, very contrary to what these girls are saying. And I'm like, why are you guys not seeing this? This is and you know what I figured out with this show, especially Real Housewives show. I think Beverly Hills had a little bit of that too. This is supposed to be a reality show. We're supposed to be picking up on things as they are happening. They should be contrived. It's like, okay, the girls are together. Let's watch. What I think, or what I believe happens, is that these ladies get together and they plan what they're going, their mode of attack for the season, who they're going to go after, what they're going to talk about, who's going to be this, who's going to be that. I think that's what they do. And it takes the fun out of the show, in my opinion. So I think this season it was let's get at Chris. Let's bring him down. And I don't know if it's because there's a little bit of jealousy that Candace is, everything that they went after her for when she first started being immature, living off of her mom's money or her parents' money or whatever, marrying a man who's not doing well or whatever the stuff they accused her of is changing around, right? This girl just got her master's degree. She has an album that's doing well. She has moved out of the house that she was being supported by her mom for, and she's now living in her own house with her husband. It's just the trajectory is on an upward path for Candace. So I think they're all, where's Gizelle's man? Ashley's losing her husband, but here Candace is waxing strong with her husband. Where's Ashley's house? Where's all these things that they were coming after her for? She is, she's risen above all that. So, this Ashley is ridiculous. So you're getting a divorce, but you're buying a house with this man. I don't know. Let's stop talking about Ashley. I'm over her. So the biggest one was Robyn, who for some reason she does not like the grand dame. She does not like Wendy. And it's crazy because Wendy and Robyn were fast friends when Wendy joined the show. They really like, and I think Wendy really likes Robyn, but for some reason, Robyn can't take Wendy. No. She's over her. She is. She cannot take her. So they went to Miami, and Mia, for some reason, wants everybody to know that she's really good. Peter Thomas is her brother. And I think in the next episode of the reunion, we're going to find out that she may have had some dalliances with Peter, like in the bed and stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. Let's wait till it comes. But anyway, so Mia has a friend who apparently they've like had threesomes with her husband. One thing that happened when they were talking to Ashley about, somebody asked a question about, what's the reason? Are you sure the real reason you're divorcing him is because you want to be monogamous and blah 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 blah? And she was like, that's why. One thing Mia said that to me, I was like, the one sensible thing she has ever said was the fact that the reason she got with her husband was because of the things that that whole threesome exciting life. Why would I now get married to him and then flip the script? That's not what he wanted. People don't realize what marriage is about. I think people think they have an idea, a wholesome idea about marriage, which that's what marriage should be. You and your husband, just you guys. And while you're in the marriage, at some point, children come along and it's just your nice, cute family unit, right? But if your husband met you in a strip club and you were one of the strippers, why do you think, and he saw all that and saw it fit to call you his wife, why would you now get married to him and be in a habit and stop the stripper pole? What's wrong with you? That's not what he wanted. He saw you and he married you. Now, obviously, if you had a conversation and he said, when we get married, you're gonna have to stop all this, then I'll say, okay, because that's your agreement. That is what you agreed to. It's as simple as that. But if he saw you in the club and he says, come home with me, stripper girl. I am going to make you my wife because I want you to be stripping for me every day. Why in the world do you think you're going to get married, have a few kids, and then you're going to stop stripping for him? No. The stripping continues. You've got to strip all day long. That's what he wanted. It's the same thing with you, the woman. You got married to him because he has all this money. You will be the quickest. People don't. You see, you have to go and look at the vows. Like, I think everybody hears the for rich or for poor, this, that. So those are vows that some people take. But not everyone. Is this the same vow they took? If she took a vow and it was like for richer, if he becomes poor, she's well within her rights to say, I'm out of here. I'm out of this camp. This hair is doing things that I don't appreciate. So it's so crazy that a man marries a woman because of her sexual prowess, and you think, and the crazy thing she gets in the bed, and then all of a sudden she thinks, yeah, I'm not gonna do that anymore. It doesn't. No, it doesn't work that way. Sorry. So Ashley, now you want to be monogamous. Monogamous to her probably is she can fool around with girls, that doesn't mean anything, right? Girl, go away. Anyway, there wasn't a lot. I think with Wendy, that with her being in a quarrel with most of the time, I think it was Robyn, Gizelle, and Mia, there wasn't a lot of well, we did get some stuff from her, her going into the hospital, coming out, some family time, her telling Eddie that Ashley's friend was calling him Happy Eddie or whatever. We got a little bit of that. But because the girls weren't too keen on spending time with her, we didn't see a lot of her. But when we did see her, she did give us some, look at the CEO, look at the boss, look at the CEO. I like that. That was that was funny when Mia attacked her, and But it's to me, I don't know it. The show started with, what is it, Orange County? And I don't even know if I even really watched that, but it's called The Real Housewives. And it's such the irony that it's called The Real Housewives and half of these women aren't real and half of these women are not housewives. I mean, it's crazy to me. But so let's talk about a Real Housewife, Robyn Dixon. Robyn shut down the airwaves when she decided that she was going to talk about the whole Juan cheating thing on her Patreon. Like, subscribe and you'll hear the full tea, is what she was saying. But we already know the full tea, right? It was during the pandemic. Your husband slid into some girl's DM, or she slid into his, and they decided, hey, let's slide, come on down, let's see. And the girl decided to tell Robyn about it, and Robyn, I guess, confronted Juan about it, and did I call him Juan? I think I did call him Juan. She decided to confront Juan about it, and he said, No, the girl just came. She came to see some other football player and she lost her wallet. So I paid for her hotel room and that's all that. Now, you know what, Robyn isn't buying that. She's not buying that. She's not. But the whole season, she was showing us her at the attorney's office talking about getting a prenuptial. At the end of the day, they never even got a prenuptial agreement. And she wanted to put an infidelity clause. At the end of the day, they didn't even, I mean, the whole thing is funny. And I don't know why. She came on Watch What Happens Live. Andy asked her a few questions about the whole prenuptial agreement. And she says, well, yeah, she didn't put the infidelity clause in there because, what if she cheats? And that said a lot. That said a lot. The issue is not whether Juan cheated. We know that he cheated on her in the past. He's going to continue to cheat because she allows it and she's fine with it. And she's probably fine with it because she's going to cheat herself. She's going to cheat herself. She's going to cheat herself. And they have come to an agreement that, listen, our family unit is what's most important. I think Juan and Robyn are good roommates. I mean, if you go on Twitter, that's what they're calling all of them. Robyn's roommate Juan, Juan's roommate Robyn. I think they're good friends. I think they're really good friends. They've known each other for years. Like, I think Juan is now more like Robyn's brother than a husband. And I think that they have agreed that they're going to live their lives the way they want to. Juan can do whatever he wants to do, just as long as he doesn't mind that she does whatever she wants to do. Everybody's marriage is different. If you look at all of them, Mia and her husband, I think his name is Gordon, they enjoy threesomes. He's very much excited by how wild she is. And when I say wild, the shit that comes out of the stuff that comes out of her mouth. He's happy with that. Okay. Well, Gizelle isn't married, but she was about to be. If her the Bryant guy comes back and says, hey, marry me, she'll probably marry him, and she's probably fine with all the stuff he does. Ashley, she was married to a man who cheated on her so many times, with her, on her. She was fine with it. They've all set up their marriage in a way that works for them. Okay. The problem is they have an idea, or they have something they think that marriage is supposed to look like, or the way the world views marriage, and they think they have to play up to that picture. No, your marriage is your marriage. You decide what you want to do. Now, of course, you're on TV or whatever. We're going to talk about it. But you do you. And it doesn't help when you lie about certain things. Just own it. Like Lisa Rinna says, just own it. Just own it. So the craziest thing, when they started the episode, and I wonder why are they now filming the reunions, all of them in New York? Like, I thought Andy used to go to the city. Like, I know Atlanta, they used to shoot the reunions in Atlanta. But anyway, the opening scene of this reunion, they were showing all the trash bags in New York. I'm like, why is this important? Why do we need to see the trash bags? I was like, is that a sub? Like, are they trying to send some kind of subliminal message? The mess was funny, and I was like, this isn't cute. Who wants to see all this trash? That's dumb. Anyway, so I'm still getting used to these braces. They get on my nerves. One thing I want is for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City to pick up. Um, I don't know that I want to see those two Angies and the Dana. I think they need a whole new batch, but okay, whatever. And Real Housewives of Potomac, I don't know. I think Giselle's a liar, but I hate to say this, but I see why they keep her on there. She's shady boots, and it's somewhat, there's a little bit, I don't know. I don't like what she was doing with Chris, but it's the same way Lisa Rinna was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's, I hate to say it, but good for the show. Like, she's interesting. Like, she keeps it interesting, you know? Um, that's what Gizelle is on this show. Somebody that I don't like, I don't think is good for the show, someone I don't think keeps it interesting. Even, she's open, she's open, right? But isn't. She's open about other people's stories, just like Gizelle is. But she does it in a really, 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 really bad way. And that's Ashley. So Ashley is like Brandy Glanville. These are the people that shouldn't be on the show. They just should just go, because I don't even know. They're doing too much, and it's not cool. Gizelle is. I don't know why I'm saying it, because really she could go too, especially with what she came with this time around. She could go. It's too detrimental, I would say. But anyway, so that's my take on this episode of Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. Ashley is not very smart, and the revelation about her divorce and things she's not gonna get out of that marriage is evidence of that fact. Robyn is very, very fine with Juan cheating, because she's probably going to end up cheating herself if she hasn't. We just don't know about it. So I'm not, like, whatever she says, it's like, he was lying about that girl. Don't say you believe him, because you don't believe him. So just instead of saying that, say, listen, Juan cheats. I've known it for years. It's okay. We just want our family to be together, and we'll accept that. It's okay. That's what you want. That's the same thing Ashley did all the way until this divorce. That's how she was. So, you don't need to paint a picture of shock when you know exactly what's going on. Let's not do that. Karen is now, she has a 5-wick candle, or was it a 6-wick? I don't know. That's her storyline. She's doing candles, and she's doing what's that thing Luann is doing? Not a cabaret, but she's doing those shows too. Anyway, that's my take on this episode of the reunion. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep watching these shows, but I'll just bring back Beverly Hills. I want to see some Erica Jane on my screen. Yeah. Well, thank you, my Smooners. I was trying to debate if I should play one of the controversial parts of the reunion, but I don't know what they're doing these days, Bravo. I heard they're shutting down people's pages. So I'm not gonna play it, but if you watch the reunion, if you had it on DVR or you watched it, I'd like to hear your take on what you heard from this past episode. Do you agree with me? Do you think of some of the things I'm saying don't track? And if you do agree with me, let me know what your thoughts are. And yeah, so Thank you, my Smooners, for joining me. I promise you, I'm gonna do more, talk more about relationship. Oh, and the stuff that's going on the news right now. That I wanted to talk about this topic. Like in the past, how many weeks now? There've been three different stories of men under 50 dying, and from apparent suicides. Why? We're going to talk about that. We're going to discuss that on the next episode of Being Mrs. S, my podcast. But thank you, my Smooners, for listening. Also, you should consider supporting me. You can support me with 99 cents, $4.99, $9.99. Um, little as 99 cents a month. That'd be really cool. Shows me that you like what you hear. You're supportive of what I'm doing. Um, Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook, Babe Mrs. S. I'm on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter because I get wild on Twitter. I tweet. I'm a tweeting fool on Twitter. Anyway, thank you, my Smooners, and I will circle back.